Hey everybody, Coach Casey here. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the history of our business ventures and how they came to be and give a little bit of insight and background. Maybe about 8-9 years ago, I was going through something at my corporate job and it really lit a fire under me to create a contingency. So, that coupled with a conversation that my wife and I had, I had like a tremendous amount of insecurities about creating business. And I could just remember being a kid, and by my house where I grew up, there was a grocery store, and in that strip mall parking lot, back then strip malls weren't like they are today. They just had a couple of mom and pop businesses, and I remember one was a cobbler. He was a shoe. There was a shoe repair guy. There was a watch repair guy, like a jeweler, and the owners actually used to work in there. And I remember being a little kid, and I'd walk by those businesses, and I always thought to myself, like, wow, like these guys, they're doing their own business. And in my mind, I developed this thing that small business owners were different than me. I always viewed myself as an employee and not as a business owner. Now, fast forward to about 8 years ago, my wife and I had a conversation, and she was telling me, like, nah, you can do it. Like, you got to just open a business and trust that you're going to be able to make it happen. Like, you got to kind of take some risk. And the first business that we ended up opening was 10th Planet Costa Mesa. And then it occurred to me that, wow, not only am I pretty good at it, but you could actually create money by offering a service. And this kind of got my brain working. And then it wasn't just good enough for me to open businesses. It became my mission to get my students and my friends and my loved ones to also create business. And that's kind of been my marching orders, or my battle cry, is like, anyone can do it. You gotta just find something that you're in love with, something that you have passion for, and just go ahead and jump all in and figure it out as you go. And so from 10th Planet Costa Mesa, I mean, obviously we opened up Buena Park, which later became Fullerton, Orange, Irvine, Vegas, downtown Vegas, 10th Planet Tucson, Classic Fight Team, let alone helping multiple people that I don't do business with open gyms. But some of the really cool things that happened was NoGi Apparel was like was a really strong independent brand that was created inside of 10th Planet Costa Mesa. And at the exact same time, Phalanx was also created inside of 10th Planet Costa Mesa. NoGi eventually got sold and is owned and operated by someone different now, but Phalanx is still owned and operated by one of my students, Martinez. And it's actually a really strong NoGi brand even to this day. Then when I made the move to Vegas, from there we started opening tons of businesses. So Toehold was one, and I try to align myself with people that are going to make it happen. And I can remember when AG came to me and was like, hey, Coach, I want to make a flip-flop company. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool, man. Do it. Handle it. And I didn't think. I was like, do you even know how to make flip-flops? And he's like, not yet. And I was like, oh, okay, that's like, handle it. I didn't think that anything would come of it. And then sure enough, he started handing me flip-flops. And like a funny side story about Toehold is Gen 1 flip-flops. We just cleaned out my garage the other day, and we found like all the generations of the flip-flops. And to see the evolution of his craftsmanship from the beginning till now is just incredible. So Toehold was a company that was created from this idea that don't wait on somebody, go and figure something out and figure it out. And that's what AG did, and it's just an amazing thing. So I'm lucky and fortunate enough to have people that are inspired to create their own businesses and then also include me in them. And so AG and I are partnering up in Toehold along with a designer, Abraham. And Toehold is growing rapidly. Like, I think Toehold's been around since 2017, and in that time, one of the hardest things to do is to get popular online. so many people are trying to do it, and Toehold has become very popular online, and that is helping translate into sales. So you always know when you have a product that people like because they get behind the brand and support it. And Toehold is no exception. You know, it's a brand that everybody needs, especially in the gym community. You know, just everybody's going on and off the mats, and flip-flops are tailor-made for that. So it's a beach brand as well as a jiu-jitsu brand. I mean, Toehold is literally a submission in Jiu-Jitsu. And then we've also created Shop NoGi, which is an apparel brand that was primarily aimed at marketing to our students across all the different platforms, but now we're kind of taking it to a bigger scale. So the scale would be more like streetwear and NoGi apparel. So you're going to see that expanding. We also have a couple of things that are happening now that we're kind of on hold due to the current situation, but we're going to be running tournaments. We're going to be expanding the apparel brand, and we got a lot of exciting things coming up, as well as like online tutorials and stuff. So the thing that I really want to get across to everybody listening out there is times are changing, and we need to be able to adapt with the times. And because of social media and marketing, there's tons of opportunity and tons of room for people to create their own little niche inside of the market. And take any example from me. I came up with parents that were saying, get a job, have insurance, be grateful that you have a job that's going to pay you every other week, 1st and the 15th. And so for me, there was a lot of psychological untying that I had to do, because I was always kind of bound by the things that governed me. I wasn't aware of it until later, but I realized that if you're going to gamble on anybody, you should gamble on yourself. So have an idea, be brave enough to go ahead and do it, and then have the work ethic enough to dominate at it and to learn about it. And Toehold's probably the greatest example of it, because most of these things I was able to just open up and then just kind of learn on the fly. But Toehold took a lot of R&D, and AG actually had to create a skill. Like, he became a skilled craftsman in leather and flip-flop making, and I can tell you that he wasn't before he did it. So knowing that if you're a good rock climber and that's just something that you do, and you want to start like an expedition company, you could just learn the expedition side, and then you already have the expertise in like mountaineering or whatever it is. So you could just learn that side. But even being close to the Toehold project, we had no expertise in the business at all. And then you were able to learn it. So just because you don't know what you want to do doesn't mean that you can't learn it. So the number one thing is just act. I would say take action today. Don't wait. No one's going to help you. If you give your idea to somebody, they're probably going to take it and run with it. So if you have an idea that you want to do, research, immerse yourself in it, and then take some risks, man. And the best person in the world to bet on is you. So you have no excuses. Right now is a really good time. We have the forced lockdown going on. Now's the perfect time to learn. So go home, figure out exactly what you want to do, and just make it happen. Bet on yourself, always. Anyway, well, if you guys like this video, if it was helpful at all, please make sure you like and subscribe. And I would love to hear from you. Future topics are really important. If you guys have any questions, please leave comments down below, and we'll answer them as soon as we can. Anyway, you guys live your life like a black belt. Peace. It doesn't matter.